That's right. It's time for Catching Up with Carly, presented by Meyer. Today, I'm joined by Fox Sports Detroit Tigers analyst and former Tigers pitcher, Dan Petry. How's it going, Dan?
Everything's good, Carly. It's nice to be with you. And yeah, we're going to have some fun talking about baseball. And thank goodness they got it all figured out and excited for the season to get started.
That's right. And as you were just mentioning, we just found out baseball is back. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I mean, it's been a long, long 3 months. I also coach high school baseball, which we all know high school sports and college sports were canceled. So that was a big blow. And then, not being able to, I just arrived home from spring training, doing a couple games down there, and I was all fired up for this season. And then 2 days later, it came crashing to a halt. And it was like, no, this isn't happening. And okay, it'll be for a week, and here, 3 months. And then it was, the virus, and then it was a labor situation. And are they really going to get this thing done? And, they've got to get this thing done. There's just no way they can go 18 months without playing. So there was so many roller coaster of emotions. And I think for everybody, and I think fans wanted, especially here in Detroit, even though they can't go to Comerica right away, I think they're going to really embrace having the games back on television.
Absolutely. And so can you tell us and expand a little bit on the abbreviated 60-game return?
Boy, it's going to be interesting for so many different reasons. But they talk about 162 games being a marathon, and the 60-game schedule is going to be a sprint. So each game is just going to be, the magnitude of importance is going to be so high. How you're going to have to get off to a good start, and just the differences between managing and the rosters, and also what's it going to be like for the players, playing without fans, not being able to shake hands, not being able to high five. Somebody hits a walk-off home run, they throw the Gatorade on them. You can't do that. I mean, so there's going to be a lot of the season will be exciting, but it's going to be very interesting to see how the social distancing and all of those type of things, and how they deal with the virus, how that plays into the game. That's going to be a whole nother component, which players, managers, and management have never been through.
Right. And let me ask you something. This is one thing I thought about with the abbreviated season. How will a shortened season affect the development of players?
And you're right to think that way. And I think that's another reason why the Tigers might be very, very, have a chance and be very good, because they're going to be hungry. There's a lot of people that are on 1-year deals that have a lot to play for, and they're going to be free agents at the end of the year. And, they're going to want to have a good 60 games so they can get a nice contract, whether it be with the Tigers or some other team next year. But the development, it was so important to get this season without minor leagues. I mean, the Tigers are in a rebuild, and they've got the pitchers that we keep hearing about: Manning, Mize, Skubal, Faedo, and then hopefully Spencer Torkelson gets signed, and Riley Green. And for them to go 18 months without playing baseball was going to be very detrimental, in my opinion. For their development, it could put them back another year. So I think it's very important that those guys do get some good quality at bats, some good solid innings. Whether or not we see them up in the big leagues this year remains a question, but they need this opportunity to get some good innings in, good at bats, and even go into an instructional league or an Arizona Fall League to continue that development, to hopefully get ready for next year, where they can be a key member of the squad in 2021.
Okay, and you touched on this just a bit. How will this affect prospects and some of these draft picks that we have?
Well, again, I assume that they're going to sign Spencer Torkelson. They did announce, I guess, that they signed Daniel Cabrera. So the only one that they're still waiting on is Torkelson. So he's gonna want to get at it. And Riley Green, who knows when he's going to be But there's a number of different players down in the minor league system that are just starting to turn the corner. A guy like Derek Hill, who's a #1 pick, Daz Cameron. I mean, there's a lot of them down there that really, hopefully will find their way onto that 60-man roster and the taxi squad, so they will be able to continue their development against even though it's inter squad games, it's still some of the best prospects and the best baseball players that the Tigers have. So that should, even though it's not live game competition, but it should be okay for their development because of the level of competition they'll be going up against.
Got it. Okay, cool. And then with training camp, it's slated to begin July 1st at Comerica Park. Different kind of feel, of course, obviously with the virus, but also with it being home. How will that differ from training camp in Lakeland?
There's another good point right there. They're used to being down in a totally different atmosphere down in Florida. It's nice and relaxed, and you got the warm. It's in the winter time and the warm air and the palm trees and everything. But a guy like Matthew Boyd, who is just wonderful to talk to. He's very smart. He's the player rep for the Tigers. He was talking about, man, this has been great. I'm right here at home. I have a home here in Detroit, and I've been able to go to the ballpark and work out. So I think it's going to be nice for him, just because, he's right here in town, and several other Tigers will be here. But, assembling everybody from all over the world now, there's that aspect too. You got to get people from all the Caribbean countries, and Latin America, and get them up here to Comerica. So there's a lot of differences that they've never had to deal with. And it's going to be interesting how they handle all those visas and streamlining and speeding that up, because there's no time to waste, because they've only got a couple of weeks to get ready, and then you want to be hitting the ground running when that season starts.
Exactly. And then what are some of the precautions that the MLB are taking to make sure the players stay safe?
Boy, there's a lot, and I thought it was like 67 pages, but I think I saw yesterday where it was 100 pages now, and again, I think they're working through all of that. Like Ron Gardenhire was on this morning, and he's kind of an at-risk guy, and he says he might have to sit in the dugout with a mask on, and he's not sure if he's allowed to go out and make a pitching change. You usually walk out to the mound and take the ball from the starter, or does he just motion, and talking about, pitchers, they're used to they go to their mouth, to get moisture, to get help in their grip and everything. And that's no longer allowed. And it's a habit. And they're talking about having a wet cloth putting in their, in their pocket. Batting practice baseballs, they use them one day and then they have to disinfect them, and they can't use them again for 5 days. I mean, this list is really, really long, and I'm not sure how anybody's going to know exactly all of the different rules there. But, the biggest thing is the player's safety, and the staff. And so they're going to really, really watch it. And, Matthew Boyd, again, is talking about he doesn't want to go down to the stadium and catch or be infected and bring the virus home to his family. So they're going to be very, very careful about, how they operate and what they do at the ballpark.
What can fans expect to see from this team in this upcoming season?
Well, I was able to talk to Ron Gardenhire too in spring training, and if you're a player or your manager, coach, you have a lot of pride and as a baseball player, and you don't want to hear that you stink, and that's what people say, and you get tired of hearing it. And I remember telling Gardy, I said, I don't want to hear it. Me as a, doing the game, I don't want to hear what people say that the Tigers stink. I don't think so. I mean, I see how hard those guys work, and I see how hungry they are. I see how hard Ron Gardenhire works and his coaching staff. And and for people just to say that about this ball club would anger me, and I'd be going out to show them. Well, I'll show you. You think we stink, huh? Okay, well, yeah, we'll take care of it on the field. That's why I think it's going to be so exciting, is because of the pride that these players and coaches have, and especially over a 60-game season, they're going to be very hungry going out.
How do you think the Tigers' record will differ with this, all these rules and this different play that they have coming into this season?
But again, I think health is going to play such an important
Mhm.
role, and it's a big question mark that we're not going to know. Our pitcher's arm's going to get sore. We'll find out who really took good care of themselves. When the season starts up, will there be some muscle tweaks? How about if you go through a situation where all of a sudden your 3, 4, 5, and 6 hitter test positive? What
Mhm.
happens if 3 out of your 5 starting pitchers test positive? So there's so many question marks that I think are going to play out, and that's why it's the biggest thing, is just to watch that health and be overly cautious about how you treat the players and how you watch this spread of this disease.
Well, I'm excited baseball's back, and I can't thank you enough for being on Catching Up with Carly, presented by Meyer. Daniela, back to you.